A double life and cheating on my wife! I was awakened by the early morning light and the singing of mountain birds. I could hear the stomping of chipmunks running around camp, cleaning up the crumbs left over from my camping dinner. The pure morning joy I felt in nature after so many years quickly dissolved as today's reality came upon me. Here at 6,000 feet, the air was fresh and cool, and as I stepped out of my tent, I was engulfed by the beauty of an alpine lake surrounded by snow-capped mountains. I wanted to push the harsh realities deeper, to free my brain, to fish. But I knew that today was the day I had been dreading for the past month. Today is the day of the confrontation that I must face hard and definitively, so that I can start over again. I cooked some sort of breakfast of eggs and sausage on the propane stove along with thick black coffee. As I sat there, finishing my drink and recharging for the 6-mile hike, I marveled at how beautiful and peaceful this moment in time was. I reminded myself that yes, there is both beauty and enjoyment in life if you just keep moving forward in the right way. I knew I would definitely return to camping, hiking, fishing, and sailing. My former hobbies. The ones I had put aside for 23 years of marriage to the love of my life. Well, I will now say that this was the woman I once considered with all my heart to be the love of my life. I'm an optimist. I hope there will be another one at some point. The walk down was pleasant and adventure-free, and I didn't meet anyone on the trail to where I parked. I packed up my car with my gear and started pulling out onto the main highway. I turned my phone back on after being unplugged for the past 3 days and knew that when I got into cellular range, the texts and emails would start. As I pulled onto the 2-lane paved county road, I heard the first beep of a message and looked down to see it was my 21-year-old son, Ryan. Ryan and I were not only father and son, but had become best friends and confidants through the trials and tribulations of his tumultuous teenage years and came out with respect and a strong mutual love. Ryan's message was short and to the point. Dad, I love you and support you. Good luck today, and stay positive. Somewhere, someday, there is bound to be a light at the end of this tunnel. His words of encouragement brought tears to my eyes and helped to reinforce what I needed to do. The next message I opened was from my daughter, Krista, and it too was a promise of support and love. Daddy, I wish I could be with you and hug you and tell you everything is going to be okay. You're the best father we could ever imagine, and you've always put us first. Now you have to put yourself first. No matter what happens, you need to know that Ryan and I love you and will always be there for you. Krista had always been Daddy's little girl, and although she was an exact replica of my beautiful wife Linda in her younger years, Krista possessed my desire for adventure, love of nature, and crazy sense of humor too, qualities none of which Linda possessed. At least I was blessed with children I loved, respected, and who would be the best legacy I would ever leave behind at the end of what I hoped would be a happy and fulfilling life again. I stopped for a break to carefully review my messages, emails, voicemails, and missed calls. There were 10 missed calls from my wife in the last 3 days, the first 7 or so probably from her 3-day banking seminar and supposed business trip to Vegas, and the last 3 seemed to be after she returned last night, and then again this morning. I can imagine how angry she got when I wasn't at the airport to pick her up, and when I didn't return her calls or texts. I didn't bother with the voicemails. I deleted them all and went to my inbox. Sure enough, Linda had texted me about 20 times in the last 3 days, and again I didn't bother responding to them. I took a quick look through them, with the first few being her declaration of her undying love for me. What a stranger, I thought, probably out of guilt. And the last few being venomous, full of resentment for my not answering her, not returning her calls, and leaving her waiting at the airport for over an hour before she finally realized I wasn't coming. The last text from her was simply, WTF Jack, all in capital letters. How our relationship had changed over the past few months, although I don't think she even realized how the spark of love in me that had forever burned for her began to slowly fade. Had she really drifted so far away from me in the last treacherous 4 months? Had she really lost all conscious thought of me, of my feelings, and of the pain in my eyes, which I wondered she did not see? Had she so easily forgotten her children, our family, and the love we had shared for so long? It was perhaps even more depressing than her affair. Linda was beautiful in her 44 years. She had incredible curves, shapely legs, bold and firm breasts, and she knew how to work her body for any occasion, whether flirting at a social event or playing the part of a rising star banking professional in the trust department of the U.S. Merchant Bank. I was always proud to be seen with her, and I loved the way men looked at her, barely containing their lust and averting their eyes. The realization that she was mine and she and I were forever entwined with each other gave me a huge surge of self-esteem and selfishness as we walked past lustful gawkers. I told her how beautiful and desirable she was, but she always countered that she was getting older and no longer felt as young and vibrant as she used to. I could tell it bothered her, and I tried to assure her that her light was getting brighter, not dimmer, but she just ignored my compliments, saying, "You just have to say it because you're my husband and you love me." Anyway, her younger boss, John Monroe, had somehow become a new light in her life, at least in love terms. I, on the other hand, was now obviously seen as an albeit boring but trustworthy best friend. Although to me, we were even no longer friends, but then again, Linda didn't notice that. John Monroe, the wealthy vice president of the trust department, was thin, tall, and so self-assured that I found him obnoxious when I met him a few times. But Linda thought he was the epitome of a great leader. At least that's what she said when we discussed her work life and himself, but that too had suddenly stopped 4 months ago. In retrospect, I now assume that was the beginning of her affair, the beginning of the end of 23 years together. I brushed off my depressing thoughts, looked at my phone again, and with an angry growl, deleted all her messages and then moved on to other emails. My attorney informed me that everything was ready to go according to our arrangements. I also noticed I had something in my private chat room and opened it to read, "Person of interest got in serious trouble during a robbery. 1 crushed testicle and a shattered knee." When I closed the chat room, everything was automatically erased. The next email I looked at was confirmation that my resignation from my job had been accepted and my 401k and stock options had been liquidated and the proceeds transferred to my new checking account. I'll be perfectly fine, at least for a few years, although the tax bite will be painful. But I really didn't care. I needed to leave. I was about to pull out into the driveway when the phone rang and I saw that it was Linda. I decided there would be no better time to talk than now, and equated it to ripping off a Band-Aid. It had to be done quickly and convincingly. I slowed down, turned off the engine, and answered the phone as nonchalantly as I could. "Hey, Linda, what's up?" "What's the matter? What do you mean?" "First of all, where are you? You weren't at the airport to pick me up, and you weren't home all night. You haven't even left a note or returned my calls or texts since last week." "Why, Jack? Tell me what happened." "Gee, Linda, I thought you didn't care if I answered or not. Whether you saw me or not, I thought you'd be glad I wasn't home. That way you could clean yourself up and get back into character before you saw me, the kids, our friends, or your parents. Isn't that how your double life works?" "What? Why do you say that, Jack? I don't understand. What double life? You know I have to travel for work. And by the way, why aren't the kids returning my calls and texts? And where's our queen mattress from the master bedroom? I had to sleep in the guest bedroom last night. Jack, what's going on? Where are you? And why did you leave me at the airport? I feel like I'm in the twilight zone and nothing makes sense." "Linda, you are in the twilight zone that you have driven yourself and our entire family into." Linda's anger and her aggressive verbal attack subsided as her confidence must have begun to plummet and her worst fears began to surface. What does that mean, Jack? Where are you and what's going on?" No matter where I am or where I'm going, I'm out of town, Linda, and I've been too busy this past week to answer your texts and calls. I've been very busy trying to figure out how to walk away from the major betrayal in my current life and transition into my new life. Linda hesitated, and her voice shook when she heard the word betrayal, but she continued to play dumb and yelled, "Jack, are you drunk? What are you talking about?" First of all, Linda, tell me how your 3-day banking conference went. Did that asshole John make love to you every night and morning or just 3 nights? I heard her gasp and go silent when I said that, and it took her a few seconds to answer. What? What are you talking about? John. Who John? And why are you saying that? I'm married to you. Yes, Linda, you're married to me, and I'm amazed you still think it's a marriage. So would you at least do me the courtesy after 23 years of marriage to tell me the truth? I know you haven't had any respect or care for me or your family these past few months, but now that the lies and deceit have been exposed, how about being honest? Linda replied in a shaky and quiet voice. Jack, I don't know what you're imagining, but you're wrong. I love only you. There's nothing between me and John Monroe. Well, at least now you've admitted you know which John we're talking about. For a moment there, I thought there was more than one John. Linda, tell me honestly, did you think you'd never get caught? Or did you just not care? Why didn't you want to tell me you wanted a divorce and loved someone else? It would have been so much easier for everyone if you'd had the courage to let us know before you lied and cheated behind our backs. Jack, Linda shouted, and I heard her cry, don't even mention the word divorce. Please believe me, I only love you. Please come home so we can talk about this. Nothing's going on. How could you possibly think otherwise? Linda was obviously convinced I had no proof and was bluffing, so she was going to continue this charade. So you never made love to Monroe in our bedroom on our now-missing queen-sized mattress? No, of course not. What are you talking about? Linda, wait a minute on the line, will you? With those words, I pulled out a picture of John Monroe making love to Linda. She looked like she was over the moon. It was one of the many pictures and videos I had gotten from the camera hidden in the most visible place inside the clock on the dresser I had bought a month ago when I was alerted to her affair. I sent the picture to Linda and switched back to the call. Linda, pull out the picture I just sent you. Are you telling me that's not my loving wife making love in my bedroom? On my huge mattress? Unprotected with her asshole boss? I heard her hang up the phone and scream in agony. Oh God, no, Jack, please, it was a mistake. It only happened once, it didn't mean anything. It was just an affair, just the thrill of someone younger wanting me so badly and making me feel young again. It was a one-time thing, and I really never wanted it to hurt you. Oh God, I'm so sorry. But Jack, if... Linda, look out the window in the middle of the backyard. See that pile of charred wood, metal, and ash? That's our queen-size mattress. It's a symbol of how you set our marriage on fire, how you betrayed our family, how you humiliated me. When did you hate me enough to hurt me so much? When did you decide that you no longer cared about my love or the love of our children? When did you decide I was no longer worthy of respect and honesty? When and why did you decide to throw us away like the morning trash? Jack, please, please forgive me. I love you. I could never hate you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. It was an accident, a terrible mistake, and only once. It was me being selfish. It had nothing to do with you. Please, Jack, come home and talk to me. Linda, the kids and I have had enough of lies and deceit. Can you finally be honest with me? Is that why the kids won't return my calls? Jack, you told them and turned them against me? How dare you, Linda? I didn't do anything to turn the kids against you. You did it all on your own. I mean, you and your buddy. That's all you. Your selfish, self-centered attitude and your need for someone else's body is what got you into the twilight zone and what took our whole family and destroyed it and drove us all away from you. And no, it wasn't me telling the kids, it was the kids telling me. That's pathetic. I never would have thought you could lie and deceive me and abandon us so easily. At least now stop lying. It wasn't just one time. It's been going on for at least 4 months, judging by the way you emotionally cut us all out of your life. And the sad thing is, you didn't even realize it. You stopped talking to us. You stopped looking at me. You stopped making love to me except for the occasional mercy sex. You disgust me. Jack, it doesn't mean anything. It was just sex, just once, and just a brief lapse in judgment after 23 years of marriage. I want you, not John. Please believe me. Linda, wait. I pulled the next picture out of my phone, the one where Ryan came home unannounced to pick up some tools and heard his mother and Monroe doing it. He quietly crept to the open master bedroom door, pulled out his phone, and took some pictures and video. He didn't tell me about it for 2 weeks until he and Krista decided I had a right to know, so they called me in and told me. And we all cried and were physically sick watching their mother, my wife, betray her with her boss. That's what prompted me to buy a spy camera. I sent this picture to Linda, too. Linda, opened the phone again. This is the first time either of us has ever found out about you and your asshole boss. Although the way you severed all emotional ties with me 3 months before this picture, I'm sure you were lovers for all that time. Linda, Ryan was the first to spot you, and he took a picture of you with Monroe. How do you think your son feels about you after seeing his mother's betrayal? Don't you realize that it alienated him and that you lost his respect and Krista's respect as they looked at those pictures and tried to decide whether to tell me about your cheating behavior? Do you think they have any trust or respect for you now? Do you know how painful it was for them to tell me you were a cheater, and how hard it was to hear them sobbing as they watched you destroy our marriage and ruin our family? Just stop lying about how it only happened once, and that it hasn't been going on for months, and that you didn't make love to him 6 or 7 times on this last business trip. I'm hanging up on the next lie you tell. No, Jack, please, let me explain. I could hear Linda sobbing at the top of her voice, and I imagined her collapsing to the floor when she finally realized that her lies and betrayal had hurt her family and herself. Oh, God, Jack. I'm so sorry. Please, you have to forgive me. I was crazy, but it's over now. It was just cheap sex, and it was so exciting to be wanted and secretly participate in an illicit affair. I felt young and desirable again. But there was no love, and I never meant to hurt you, but I don't know how I could not see that. I didn't even realize how I had pulled away from you and the kids, and I'm ashamed to admit that right now I wake up and see myself as some other person from a horror movie or nightmare, and I hate myself for it because I love you and the kids and our life together. Oh, dear Jack, please, please, please come home so I can make things right. I need to make us a family again. Linda, there is no us. We're done. You can't say you loved me after you cheated on me and caused me pain and heartache. You showed me that you have no respect for me. You don't care about anyone but yourself. And because of your lies and deceit, I will never be able to trust you again. Everything we had before is now tainted and suspect. You've been sleeping with him for the last few years or 4 months. How many other men have you been with? Do I need to have my children's DNA tested? Don't bother answering that because I won't believe a word you say. Of course I need to get tested for STDs. You and I have nothing left. You hurt me like no other. And I could never imagine that the person I loved and bet my life on would throw me away like a piece of trash. But you did. Maybe the kids will eventually find their way back to you, but me, they never will. Jack, please don't say that. I'll do anything. I'll see a therapist. You can make love to other women. Please don't leave me. I lived with guilt. I wanted to stop, and I always came back to you. It was just a meaningless affair. Oh, God, please forgive me. I'm so sorry. Linda, save your breath. I don't believe a word you say. And at this point, I just don't care about you and your lies. Now listen to me carefully to what's going on right now. You're gonna be served with divorce papers at the bank on Monday. God, no, Jack. Please don't divorce me. Please don't divorce me. Linda, Listen to me. Your boss's wife has already gotten copies of the video and pictures of you making love to him in our bedroom. So you and John Monroe will probably be stuck with each other when his wife and I both dump your cheating asses. Jack, please tell me you didn't do this. He's got a wife and 2 kids. Why are you gonna ruin them? Wow, Linda, you just don't get it. I'm not the one destroying their family. You and fucking John Monroe ruined it. Your cheap affair ruined not only my life, your life, and our children's lives, but his wife and children's lives as well. You can be proud of yourself. You had a hand in the deaths of 8 people. Lucky for you, you're such a selfish fool that you probably don't care. Her sobs exploded. I could hear it over the phone. But I'm not done yet. Your boss is going to be sued civilly for alienation of affection, though I'll have to find out what hospital he's in. Obviously, he's out of luck. Wrong place, wrong time. I heard from a friend that Monroe was mugged in an airport parking lot and ended up in the hospital with a crushed testicle and a shattered knee, so it's hard to say when he'll be in shape to give you his love again. Stop it, Jack. Stop being so cruel. I don't care about him. I just want you. Please don't do this to us. Look, Linda, again, we're not here. It's hard to tell if you and your boss will still have your jobs by the end of next week, because I've also sent these pictures to the president and board members of the U.S. Merchants Bank, along with a lawsuit for alienation of affection and harassment. If they want to settle, I'll try to make sure you keep your job, but I'll demand that they fire him for cause. No, Jack, no. Do you really hate me that much? Linda, you've shown your own hatred for me with your betrayal, your lies, and your disrespect. You took the love I cherished for you and ripped it from my soul. I'm just trying to regain some self-respect before our lives drift apart. At this point, Linda was crying so hard and letting out cries of disbelief and denial that I wasn't sure she could listen to me any further. I was holding back anger and feeling hurt and remorse for what I was putting her through because I knew I still loved her, even though I hated her. It was a very disturbing mix of emotions tearing at my soul. But overall, I was determined to get revenge and mortally wound her for what she had done to me. Linda, we're almost done here. Try to focus on the next few paragraphs. I took the $125,000 we had in savings and used $25,000 to pay for Krista's next 2 years of college tuition. I will help her in the future, but for now, this is all I can afford. I'm leaving you the house. I signed the deed in your name, and the equity will be about $100,000 if you sell it now. I'm not selling our house, Jack, and I want you to stop this madness and come back to me so we can heal. Please, for the sake of our 23 years of love and happiness before I go crazy. I ignored that comment and continued. Linda, if you sign the divorce, you will keep the house and all its contents. I'll keep the $100,000 that's left of our savings and we'll be done. If you don't agree to the divorce or start fighting it, I don't care. I won't be there to argue. Do whatever you want, I don't care. We're almost done, Linda. There are a few more things I need to tell you. If you look around, you'll notice that I've moved out. I took what I wanted, and everything that's left is yours. I took some of the pictures and I left the wedding photo albums for you. Keep them, burn them, I don't care. I left my wedding ring on my dresser. You can melt it down or flush it down the toilet like you did with our marriage. Ryan is coming to pick up some of my fishing and hunting gear that he needs. He'll come when you're gone, so don't freak out if you notice someone's been in the house. He doesn't want to see you. Krista is coming over to get all her stuff. She doesn't plan on ever living there again. She'd also like to stop by when you're gone, so don't be surprised if you see her room empty. The last thing you should know is that I've also sent pictures of you making love to your parents, my parents, and all of our contacts in both of our email databases, so you might want to work on what story you're going to tell them all. I'll be damned if I'm going to be the bad guy in this failed marriage. Her crying and screaming had now risen to such a level that I was afraid she was going to pass out or get hit. This had to end. Linda, one more thing. I quit my job last week and am leaving the state for the great unknown. I hope I can find someone in the future who loves me enough to stay true to the promises we make to each other. Someone who will respect me, treat me as an equal, and someone I can trust and love again. I hope you, in turn, will be able to find what you've clearly been missing. Please don't look for me. If you need me for anything, you can send a message through Ryan or through my lawyer, but I will disappear from your life and you will disappear from mine. Goodbye, Linda. I heard her screaming, "Jack, no, please, Jack, please forgive me." I blacked out and broke into an agonizing fit of crying and pain. I think I realized that I had gone too far in my revenge, and it would take me a long time to forgive myself for the cruelty I had shown. I doubted I would ever forgive her. I knew the road ahead of me would be torturous before I could heal myself and feel ready for something more than a life of solitude. More than anything, I didn't want to lead a life of bitterness. But as I thought back to the morning on top of the mountain, I reminded myself that there will still be moments of beauty and magic in my life. I just need to stay open to them and keep moving toward a new beginning. The end! Subscribe to my channel! Thank you!